Here we are, continuing our directed Hebrew immersion in the book of Exodus, chapter 29. So that means if you're new to the channel and you're interested in Exodus, all of the book up until this point is on this channel here. You just need to look for the Exodus playlist. All right? All right. We also have Esther, all of Esther. We have most of Deuteronomy. And we have most of First Kings and lots of Judges and many, many Psalms. Psalm 119 is here completely. Anyway, so very welcome if you're new here. Please make sure to share with your friends. Avinu Malkeinu ken yichatzon ki bichatecha tihye al kol talamidai hayam tishmona otam adonai keishon einecha. All right. So this is Exodus 29, verse 23. And I will just scan it first. V'chikar lechem achat v'chalat lechem shemen achat v'rakik echad misal hamatzot asher lifnei Adonai. This one. Okay. I was looking for that. I thought I'd covered it down here with some markings. This kadma. Okay. V'chikar lechem. So we start off with a construct chain. What in the world is kikar? Kikar. Kaf, kaf, reish, if you're just listening. Kikar, here it's chikar just because of the vocalized schwa. Ve, that's like a vowel sound preceding a big god fat letter, so he loses his weak dagish. Now, kikar, it's like a loaf. I mean, I would probably translate that a loaf of lechem, a loaf of bread. The thing that I don't think I've ever seen it listed as loaf in a lexicon, but by today's understanding, it literally means like a round. So the same word kikar, you'll find it describing an area of the Jordan, the fertile crescent area of the Jordan, which is visible from an elevated hill where Avraham Avinu looked down on it Lot looked down and he chose it because he saw it so great and he's greedy. He chose the best land for himself. So it's the Kikar Hayarden, right? The Jordan crescent, or like the disc area of that. There's also a weight system. Kikar is used for measuring precious gold and precious metals, precious gold, like gold and silver. So you'll see like a kikar zahav or something like this. It's a big metal disc in weight of whatever those things are. So I think loaf might be okay, or maybe a rounded loaf. So ve, of course, is a conjunction. So and a kikar lechem. So like a disc of bread or a rounded loaf of bread. Now, that's our noun, lechem. Right? Kikar is also. Whenever you have a construct chain like this, the next word, if it's an adjective, it's still going to follow, right? And it can be modifying either one of those words. Not both, but one of them, right? And so if the words are of a different gender, that makes it very easy to understand which one the adjective is about. Now, kikar and lechem both look like they're masculine. In truth, they can, especially kikar, it can go either way, right? Even though it looks like it's masculine, and that's what's happening here. So it's also possible that achat, even though this is the feminine form of the adjective echad, right? Aleph, chet, dalet. Here it's aleph, chet, tav, right? And feminines are also used in counting. So my suspicion is really what's happening here, even though kikar and lechem are predominantly masculine. Actually, I can't think of examples where they're feminine, but I might have seen kikar that way. They, because the writer of Exodus here, Moshe, perhaps he's influenced by echat. You're like counting, right? How many? One or two. And so, even though it's a feminine adjective, I'm thinking maybe it's just because that's the way you count in the feminine. When we count the feminine. Even in Israel today, like you tell somebody the cost, say it's 1 shekel, it's echat. You say echat, or when you're counting echat shtaim, so anyway, you're counting in the feminine. So the kikar and a disc or a loaf or a talent of lechem, of bread, echat, 1. So one of those measurements of bread, or one like loaf in this case. The chalat lechem. And this is interesting. A chala is the word chala, and this one's definitely feminine. Now, chala, well, we have that today. That's the Jewish, like, multi-woven bread, right? That we traditionally eat on Shabbat if we can get our hands on it. So chala, and then the t means of lechem. So a chala of bread. I just noticed lechem is also in the construct, so I don't know if you can see I fixed my construct chain. So we actually have a full construct chain. It's chalat, lechem, shemen. All right? So va and chalat, like kind of a ring-shaped loaf of lechem, of bread, of shemen, sheen, mem, nun, of oil. And usually in the Bible, if we don't specify the kind of oil, then you can assume it's shemen zayit, oil of olive. Echat, so one of those. We have one chikar lechem, one kind of loaf, like rounded loaf of bread, and we have echat, one chalat lechem shemen, one kind of like ring-shaped of lechem, of shemen, of olive oil. Verakik echad. Notice here we have now the masculine form in the adjective of echad. Up above, and on this line we had achat and achat, and now we have echad. And as usual, the noun comes before the adjective in biblical Hebrew, usually. So ve and rakik. If you're just listening, this is reish, kuf, yod, kuf. Some call it kof, so we all have learned. Sometimes we learn with different ways to say the letters, depending on the minhag. So a rakik is a wafer, and a wafer. How many wafers? What kind of wafer? Echad, 1. Okay. Continuing. Actually, let's read through one more time. Vechikar lechem, and a disc or a round shape of lechem, of bread, so like a loaf of bread. Achat, 1. Vechalat lechem shemen, and a ring-shaped bread of oil. Achat, 1. Verakik echad, and a wafer. Echad, 1. Continuing on. Misal hamatzot. So the mis here, if you're looking, I don't know if you can see, there's an orange glowing dagish in the middle. That is from min. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Mem nun, meaning from. And the nun has assimilated. That's why we have 2 samichs. So the word is sal, samich lamed, sal, which is a basket. So min sal became mis sal. From basket, construct chain of hamatzot. Ham, meaning the, matzot, matzahs. Now, because it's a construct chain, and the last word has a hey on it, that makes that last word definite, and therefore makes the entire chain definite. So we will transfer the to sal. So misal is from the sal, from the basket of hamatzot, the matzahs. Or you could just say from the matzah basket. Sounds a bit better in English, I think. Okay. Asher, which, Aleph Shin Resh, which, W-H-I-C-H, not W-I-T-C-H. Lifnei Adonai. Lifnei. So lamed, that is our preposition, meaning to. And in construct, fene, it's from panim. That's where you get the Yiddish word punim. If you've ever heard someone say, "Oh, he's got such a cute punim," grabbing the cheeks of the little boy or girl. Punim is from Hebrew panim, face, and it only exists in the plural like that. So when you have a plural and you delete the mem, that's how you say of. That's putting it in the construct state. So fene is face of Adonai. Yod-He, Waw-He. And it's good to just learn this instead of lamed plus panim and construct. You'll see this so often, this construction, that really lifnei has the meaning of before, right, like in front of it. And this can be used architecturally as well, or in the presence of, right? Like to the face of, literally is what it's saying, right? So before Adonai. So we don't have to say to, or you could say, if you want to be literal, to, and then because Adonai, it's actually Yod-He Waw-He, it's the sacred name, Hashem here, that's definite. So again, the whole chain is going to be definite. So you would say le, to the fene, face of, or faces of, if you're going to be hyperliteral, Yod-He Waw-He, that's the sacred name. Okay, so you could say before Adonai, or to the face of Adonai, or to the presence of Adonai. Okay, let's read through one more time. V'chikar lechem echat, and a kikar of bread, echat, one. V'chalat lechem, shemen, echat, and a chalat of lechem, bread, shemen, of oil, echat. So it's like oil bread. And the challah here is telling us about the shape. V'rakik echad, and a wafer, one. Misal hamatzot, construct chain. That's min, became from, it's definite, because the whole chain is definite, the sal, the basket of the matzot, from the matzah basket. Asher, which, lifnei Adonai. So Hebrew oftentimes won't give you the verb is. So is lifnei, before Adonai, before Hashem, or some like to say the Lord with all big letters so we know it's the sacred name. By the way, I just want to say thank you to the majority of Christians out there, Christian brothers and sisters, and the majority of Bible translators who respect the sacred name of God, and they follow the same tradition that Yeshua himself followed, and that all of the writers of the apostolic writings, that's the New Testament used in the Greek, they never wrote the sacred name of God. Instead, they showed respect, and they said Adonai instead, which is represented in Jewish Greek as kurios. So you'll see kurios instead of the name written. Nowhere did the disciples ever write down the sacred name. In the Greek, the oldest copies of the Greek that we have, it's very careful. And Christians have also followed this tradition, and I'm very grateful for that. Writing, for example, in Russian, it'll say Gospod, but all big letters, right? Or in English, Lord, all big letters. That's what Adonai means, right? So I would like to encourage you to continue with that wonderful tradition of respect for the sacred name, not making his name common, not making it like other names. It's nice to see that most people over the centuries have cared enough to treat his name as if it's holy, not to say it all the time, not to write it out all the time on pages that could end up in the garbage or something, not to buy stickers of his name and put it on their houses or something just to be worn by the sun, right? But to do things properly, to care for the name properly, to put those scriptures in the mezuzah where they're protected on a cloth, on a mini scroll. And if you have any old Hebrew Bibles or old Hebrew prayer books, or just homework where you did write out the sacred name, Yod-He, Waw-He, I highly suggest that you do a little family project. You can get artistic and craftsy and make what's called a Geniza box. So anytime you have a piece of paper, maybe you wrote out the sacred name, maybe you were kind of ignorant and you didn't realize you should just write Yod Yod or Hashem or Hey with a slash, then if that paper has a chance of getting lost or that book is too old to use, don't throw it away. Put it in your Geniza box. And it's a really nice thing the family can do. When the Geniza box is full, you have like you bury it outside. You bury it in the yard, just like we bury old Torah scrolls. So you're treating God's name with the respect that it deserves. Okay, so check out verse 24 in the next lesson. It's coming up pretty quickly here. All right, shalom, shalom, blessings to all of you as we can continue celebrating the wonderful holiday that's mentioned in the apostolic writings, the holiday of Hanukkah.